Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here for SkiSoutheast.com. Well, the good just keeps giving. It is going to be another stellar week of cold temperatures. We've got another storm on the way. Maybe not as great for the North Carolina mountains as it is going to be for Virginia, for West Virginia, and Maryland, but the pattern stays cold. And those snowmakers, I'm going to tell you what, you better keep making snow. I think that's the one thing I would tell everybody. We might have some warmer air on the way in early February, so better to make snow now and get those bases built up. Here's the pattern. It's beautiful. We've got a piece of the polar vortex, a little lobe of it that continues to give us plenty of cold air. We've got another surge of that coming down with the Clipper system on Tuesday. That Clipper system not only re-energizes the Arctic air, but brings a little bit of northwest flow snow, and I'll show you that in a minute. But the big story this week, and you probably have heard a ton about it. Social media has been all a buzz about it. Some of it probably not as accurate as you think, but we are going to see a big storm somewhere on the East Coast. But I always say somewhere. Some folks, early on the weekend or late last week, trying to bomb it out to the south. Some bombing it out over the Carolinas. But what's becoming more likely is it's somewhere on the Carolina coast and then moving up the East Coast. So this is primarily going to be a mid-Atlantic northeast storm, not so much in the southeast. So we're going to get a little taste of it. The big story, though, regardless of the snow from the synoptic part, is going to be the fact that northwest flow and cold air is going to move in. In fact, the cold air this weekend is legit. That is a nice deep trough kind of taking over the southeast. So really cold air, natural snow. And as we go into early next week, things kind of flatten out a little bit, but still pretty seasonable. There are signs, and I'm going to go a little bit further out, that the ugly southeast ridge might be rearing its ugly head again, maybe in early February. But let's focus on the good news first. So here's our Clipper system, moves through Tuesday to Wednesday. You see a brief shot of northwest flow snow there. Again, shouldn't be a much, maybe 1 to 3 inches there. But here's the story. Later this week, our two branches of the jet stream kind of team up, and we get a good old-fashioned nor'easter. Now, this thing cranks up off the Carolina coast, so we don't have enough moisture for the Carolinas inland. But if you go into the mountains, you should have plenty of northwest flow. Look at this connection off of Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, boom, right into the Carolinas. But we do have enough moisture for synoptic snows for Winter Plains, Timberline, Canaan Valley, Homestead. All these places should have some really good snow with this system, especially as it cranks up the coast. That will enhance the northwest flow, and that could last through Saturday, even into Sunday. But in its wake, big old Arctic highs, so super cold air over the whole region. And as we go longer into the future, northwest flow stays pretty persistent into early next week. And it looks like another system tries to approach the middle of next week, but it's got a little bit warmer air with it. So we're going to have a little marginal setup here. And this is what I'm talking about. Maybe the ridge rearing its ugly head. Temperature-wise, you see the cold air, plenty of it in place. In fact, this weekend, behind that nor'easter, that is really cold air. I mean, look at that. We're probably going to have single digits and below zero readings in parts of the mountains, especially at night, and really windy conditions through the beginning of next week. So really cold air. Snowmakers, make as much as you can. This is the natural stuff. We'll add, I'm going to put all the way through the middle of the week. You can see the hot spots here. West Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, probably more in the 2 to 4 inch range. But either way you slice it, that's a pretty good setup. I mean, that's not bad at all. Let's go a little bit closer. You could see some of these areas that could peak out close to 6 inches, but probably in the 4 to 6 inch range. But boy, check out from Wisp south. Yeah, that looks like a good dumping. And the bigger snows are probably going to be up here in New England. Of course, this could change. We still got time to keep an eye on it, but we will keep a close eye on that. But the good news all around, snowmaking conditions ideal this week. You can see natural snow Wednesday for everybody, then Saturday into Sunday. So that's northwest flow and kind of that nor'easter. Make sure you make snow. And here's the reason why. We've had such a bad end of December. Last couple of weeks have kind of flipped the coin completely on its head. But there are signs we're going to have a brief warm-up in the first part of February. Now, this isn't all bad news, and I'll tell you why. Right away, you see a hint of the southeast ridge. I don't think it's going to last long. The pattern we've seen this winter is ridge, trough, ridge, trough. So if we get the ridge now in early February, maybe by President's Day weekend or Valentine's Day weekend, we likely will see the pattern flip back. So maybe we get the ridge out of the way early in February so we get the flip back for the middle and end of the month and maybe into early March, which would be nice. So it was going to come eventually. We couldn't stay in this ideal pattern very long, just like we couldn't stay in the ridge very long back in December. You knew it was going to flip. And here's a case where I do think it'll flip again, but just a heads up down the road. And that's why it's really important that we get the cold and snow now. We make as much snow as possible to build these bases up so that we can weather that little bit of a southeast ridge and get us back to cold temperatures, hopefully by the middle of February. Of course, I'll have another update coming up on Wednesday night into Thursday as we get ready for this potential weekend winter storm. Give you some more updated totals, what places are going to be hot, but it should be a great weekend in any of the southeast resorts because of the cold and the natural snow on the way. As always, everybody, thanks snow.